What's up, YouTube? I know it's been a minute since excuse me, I was eating cereal. Sorry, that was kind of gross. I know it's been a minute since I made a video. I've been very busy lately, work and homework and things like that. So I see, you see the title of my video. It says "Dear White People," and the reason why I did that is because um, the reason why I did that. This phone, I swear I hate this iPhone. I'm trying to get a new phone right now. The reason why I did that is because I had a conversation with one of my coworkers the other day, and we were discussing. Um, the Democratic debate had come on, and so he's Republican. He actually worships Donald Trump, and so uh, I said to him, I said, then he said something about Cory Booker being. He said Cory Booker was an idiot or whatever, whatever, because he said some kind of comment he made comparing himself to Spartacus or whatever. And I said, Donald Trump, hey Tony, how are you? And I said, um, well, you support everything Donald Trump says, and he says a bunch of idiotic stuff. He said, yeah, but there's other reasons why I said that. I'm like, there's no other reasons why, because that man has more intelligence than he has in his little pinky than you would have in your whole entire brain, and he has more intelligence in his thumbnail than Donald Trump will ever have in his whole life. So I'm just saying. Uh, but then he started jumping on other stuff, and they were saying that he and another coworker, well, they are not my. He's the other guy's not my coworker. He works in a different area, but he was saying, uh, well, majority of the serial killers, they both were saying majority of serial killers are Democrat, and I was like, okay. He said, yeah, well, you're going to see that all Democrats take away the guns from Americans, and that's why they can't fight back. And I'm thinking to myself, he's like, then he says, well, most of the high crime areas are Democratic areas, saying that most of the high crime areas, Democratic areas, are black areas. And black areas tend to be Hispanic, black and brown areas tend to be high crime areas. But a lot of times those areas that have a high crime, um, which when you are in an impoverished area and you grew up under certain things, the thing happens is it's a dog eat dog, you take, I take from you kind of thing. Case in point, when it was a high crime going on between Indians and Pilgrims and whoever else decided to come to this area, it was a lot of crime going on during that period. You know why? Because the Native Americans had something that they wanted, and they also fought amongst each other when they first got to this country. If you go back and look at the history of it, they actually fought amongst each other, trying to get. Hey there, how are you, Most High? Um, and they fought amongst each other, trying to get what each other had, fighting about what each other thought, and because they didn't have much, so they fought for what they could get, or fought for to keep what they had. And so, saying that because they're Democratic, and that's not the reason why the crime, even because they was Republican, it wouldn't make a difference. Because if you remember, if he ever looked back in history, sorry, my phone's acting so quick. If you ever look back in history, uh, African Americans were Republican. So what does that mean? I think we should all just become Republican again. I think we should. Hey Harris, how are you? I think we all should become Republican. I think we should just be a Republican and then flip it around on them. Since he think it has something to do with, it has nothing to do with your political background. Then he proceeded to say that all the serial killers in this country have been Democratic. Well, that's actually true. Majority of them have been Democratic. It was one Republican, which was Ted Bundy. He was the only Republican that I ever found, that I found. And that is actually true. But like I said, as far as like density and places where they live in high crime areas, when people have a low income, they tend to fight amongst each other about how to keep what they have, or someone's trying to get what the other person has. It's like, I'm going to get what you have, or I'm going to try to fight to keep what I have, or I want to fight to get more. And that's typically how it is. When people have stuff, they don't go out and try to take other people's things. Why would I take something you have when I already have my own stuff? So I had it. So my thing is, when I said dear white people, when I thought about this whole thing, yeah, it is greed, Harris. Harris, it is greed, and that's the only why it's greed. Why is it greed? It's greed on a lower level, but if you go greed on a higher level, blue collar people greed is different than white collar people greed. White collar people greed have a higher dynamics of well, they're not going to beat you over the head or pop you, shoot you, or beat you up, snatch your purse. They don't do that. Their level is a whole nother undercover level of greed. Money going to be taken from you. Yes. Well, I brought that up too, X-Man. Serial killers by race. I also tell them, I said, well, you're saying that about being Democratic, but I agree. They shouldn't vote for those, and that's why I always vote for those. I don't vote according to Democratic Party or Republican Party, whatever Democratic Party you're part of. It doesn't matter to me. I need to vote for the best person, and so I'll cross counties, I'll cross lines on because I want the best person. I don't really care you're Democratic or Republican. I want you to do something for the people. Who are you for? That's what I want to know. But I brought up X-Men, back to you what you were saying. I brought the point about that majority of the serial killers, not all of them, but the majority of them, at least 90%, 95%, maybe 98%, are white. And they didn't say anything. They went away. He didn't say a thing. He said, well, and so that's why I came up with this, dear white people, because I want to know, my thing is about this whole thing, you fall into this whole thing, Trump, and it's as these last few years, since he's been in office, and even before that, I mean, if you go back, it has been looking, a lot of the mass murders and shootings have been by either a white male or white child, children of white males. Why are your children shooting people? Why are you shooting people? I want to know people who had done nothing to you. Now, back in the day, you used to take your aggression out on people who were brown, black, other cultures, other races, and your anger was because you thought they were taking something from you. But in this day and age, you're not just shooting, you're not even hanging or doing anything to black people. A lot of the crime is towards people of the same race, white people as well. And not only that, your children are killing each other. And I wonder where it goes, because I know the root cause behind black people doing what they do. If you ever go back and look in the history of African American race or black people, you will see that all we know is violence. From the first day coming to this country, that's all we've ever been taught is violence. And so you actually proceed to duplicate the violence that you've been taught. Even as a child, if your parent is violent to you, you're violent to your children. And so that actually becomes a cultural thing with violence. It's something that's normal to us. We don't look at the violence as something odd. We look at it as that's normal. Oh, it doesn't surprise us when Ray Ray shoots Kiki, or shoots Ray, or shoots Randy, or shoots Brian, or shoots John. It doesn't seem odd. It's a shame that he did it, but it's not like, oh, I would never have thought that happened. It happens every day. So that's all we've ever seen is violence. Now, I'm not saying all black people have grown up in that, but for the most part, some persons in their family and some parts of their family have grown up in this violence. And so what they say, violence begets violence, and that's what you get. That's been for over 100 years of violence. That's all our culture knows is violence. We're trying to turn it around. A lot of parents become very passive parents, and the passive parenting is no better because now little Johnny's running around here acting out and without discipline. You still have to discipline your children. I ain't saying beat the brakes off of them with dang old freaking iron cords and irons and stuff. You know, do like on Good Times and beat Penny with the iron. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And yes, that's right. And hate and prejudice, exactly. And so I'm saying that I want to know what is the problem. What's like I said, I know what's going on in the black community. What is going on in the white community? What is the problem? Back in, those 1800s and 1700s, when things were happening, 1600s and whatever days, hundreds back then, a lot of things, like I said, were happening because you were trying to keep what you had. You felt threatened by others. Like when different Italians came to this country, they were ridiculed. When Jewish came to this country, they went through a whole bunch of stuff. And then also with dang on freaking Irish, they had to take us. They had to go through something. What I want to know is, what is the problem in this day and age? What is the problem in this day and age? No political parties support black people, Democrats, Republicans. Democrats more dangerous to black people than Republicans. I agree, because we get so. I think that we are so lax as a people, as black people. We tend to not want to fight or make them work. We don't make them work for us anymore. We let them just skate on by. We just vote them in. He's a Democrat. We just gonna vote him in. No, you shouldn't do that. And so like I said, I cross party lines on quick. I'll leave you. I'm not gonna just vote for you because you're freaking. I didn't vote for Obama because he was a black man. I trust me. I didn't even support that man in the beginning. I had to see what he was about, and it had nothing to do with his education. I wanted to know what he was talking about. I wanted to know what his angle was. I needed to know what are you trying to do? Where are you trying to go? I needed to know what his background was. I need to know something about that man. I didn't just jump in and support him because he's black. Hell no. I wasn't going to do that. I ain't going to support any person. What's his name? The dang on freaking dude who's a neurosurgeon. I didn't support him at all. I didn't. I looked into his background and the things about him. Some things about him I wasn't really sure about. I had no idea on his background, and I wasn't sure about his background, and I did not get a vote for him at all. Trust me, I wasn't trying to support that dude. No, that's right. They can't control like they used to. That's true. And I think that we need to be more conscious of our elected officials instead of just voting them in because they're Democrat. You have to use your mind, use your brain. You have a brain. Go research them. Find out what they're about. What has their whole political background look like? Not just the one that they're running on right now because they want to get in office. What do they do? What do they vote for? Because you can go look that up. That's public record. You can find out what they voted for or what they chose to not vote for because they didn't want that vote to cost them something later on down the line. Things that's right. A lot of times, if you go look and see politicians, and I've checked, trust me, I've looked their voting record up. Some of them have not voted on barely anything. They won't vote. Hey, Abdul, how are you? Some of them won't vote on many things at all. You know why they won't vote? Because they'll come back to bite them in the end. Just like when Kamala was saying about she was saying about certain voting patterns of people that was on the panel with her, and she discussed how voting for certain things. Well, guess what? He could have just done like all the other ones and not voted and just decline, because you can either say yay, nay, or have no vote at all. They'll let you do that. You'll have no vote. And they'll let you do that for a while. You can go on and not vote for stuff that's controversial, that will come back and bite you in the ass later on. You can choose to do that. You can choose not to vote. Um, but you need to know what your politicians' voting habits are. You need to know whether they vote for stuff or what they vote for and what they vote against. You didn't know if they vote for things at all. Things that you know they should be voting for and they don't. It's because they know it's controversial and it'll come back on them in the end when someone gets mad about it or things don't quite go the way they want and they'll say, well, you voted for this. So now they got to try to explain that. Also, so outside the politics, like I said, I want to know what's really going on, white people. I want to know. I want to know what are you angry about? What really are you angry about? Because a lot of times, black people are more vocal about when we get mad about stuff. Well, I don't think they're the reason why we're in the situation we're in. I think that um, we I don't think you can't blame a political party necessarily for our situation. You need to blame us as a people. And taking the blame off us as a people is not going to work. You can't take the blame off of us as a people. We are responsible for our own futures. We are responsible for our own communities. We have to take responsibility for that. You know you most parents know their children are running in the streets and they know their children up to no good. You claim that you don't know, but you know. So it's your responsibility, just your own responsibility, to make sure that your children are doing right. And you can't just go to work. You just can't. You can't just say, I need to pay these bills. Well, yeah, you do need to pay them, but you also need to raise your child. You have to raise your child. You have to be a disciplinarian. You have to know that when they have to act a certain way, even when they're in front of you, and when they're not, when you're in their presence, and when you're not, you need to know that they're acting right, and that part is about raising your children and raising them with discipline and respect for themselves and you, because when they respect you, the last thing they want to do is disappoint you. And when they respect you, one thing they don't want to do is have you come get them. That's a mistake. So, like I was saying, um, I want I just want to know what's going on and why are these children doing this? Um, this is no disrespect to anyone personally, but our folks, so-called blacks, African Americans, truly need to get over this. We need a leader politician complex. We were predestined to lead ourselves. Oh, predestined to lead ourselves, because we are people don't stick together. Yeah, that's true, Harris. And the Most High, that's not any disrespect. That's not. We were predestined to lead ourselves. You notice that, uh, and we don't stick together. But if you ever think about that, Harris, where did this come from? Where did this part come from where we don't stick together? We didn't always be that. We weren't always this way. So how did this develop? Think about how this developed. Our politicians, leaders are gone. We have none. They've been murdered. They're gone. And so it's like we're a people that's lost in the desert. If you go back and think about the Bible, what people was lost in the desert, and they wandered around for hundreds of years because they didn't know where to go. They had no leader. They had nowhere to go. Just lost in the desert. Think about that. Anyway, we don't stick together, and that's some of the things in the black community. I want to know what's the things in the white community, because even though we've come to a black on black violence, it's so out of hand, and it's actually getting a little better. It's not as bad. Well, in certain cities, it's still pretty bad, but it's not as high as it used to be back in the days when there was freaking crack rolling the streets. We've actually we're doing better in this day and age than back in those days, and um, so I know that a lot of the males have been getting locked up and they go in prison, which is another whole freaking thing I think I discussed about prison system. Uh, um, well, what's the best way to control the people? Divide and conquer. I mean, that's how you do it. You divide and conquer. And so that's how it has. No one taught us to do it. We fell into that. It's a divide and conquer. You know, if you ever go to Chinatown, they don't care what nobody do. They stick together, don't they? They get their own little area, and they good. You can go to other areas where there's certain people in the freaking certain they have their own little thing, and they take care of their own people. They do their own thing in their own little spot. But if you go to an African American, guess what else in their community? They don't allow people from the outside to come into their community. They only let people inside their community come into their community. African Americans, black people, we tend to let outsiders come in our community. Arabs, or whatever country they come from, and Asians, they come into our community. They have hair. Why? Okay, buying all these hair extensions. I went natural. Because I was sick and tired of them. And you aren't gonna disrespect me. I don't have to give you any of my money. Forget you. Guess what? My natural hair, I'll work with. Good for you. I ain't gonna give you another dime. And ain't been back in one of them stores since. Me myself, and I'm sorry if I'm offending anybody, but I'll give it to the white man before I give it to y'all little asses. I'm sorry. I won't give you another dime. Not a single dime. I don't give you a single freaking dime. And I don't go into my little mom and pop stores. I may have a racial slur about it, but they call them the Habib stores or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what these people, the Indian people. I don't go to Indian stores either. You know why? Because they don't respect black people. They don't respect our dollars. They'll take your dollar and spit in your face. The same way the Asians do. And y'all steady running into the stores instead of building a stronger community of your own. And I give it to the white man before I give it to them. Yes, I will. Sure do. I sure do. I will not give them a dime. Not a freaking dime. You're not going to disrespect me and think I'm going to keep patronizing your store. I'm not going to. And I don't go to any of them. You heard me? I don't patronize a single freaking store. Not one. Not one. You will not good. I know exactly. Mexicans do it too. They stick together. They stay in their little thing. They will come to this country. 20 of them will get a house. 20 of them will live in a house. 20 of them will be paying them bills, sticking together, buying food, cooking together, living good. We can't even live in the same. Two of us can't live in the same house together. What does that tell you? We get the wrong mindset, people. We get the wrong mindset. And that's what it's about. I think a lot of African Americans have the wrong mindset. We need to change our mindset and change what we're doing. We're not going down the correct path. Our path is all warped. And now our young ladies are going out here getting their butts done. Well, white girls are doing it too now. But I don't even understand the majority of black women. A lot of black women have booties already. Why y'all going to get bigger booties? I don't know. Because some rapper said it. But guess what? Majority of rappers' wives, go look at their wives. Their wives don't even have big booties. Black people sell each other out to acceptance to be validated by Europeans. John, you laughing. But I'm just saying, black women, black men, these rappers, you can look at them talking about 2 Chainz. What he say? All he want for birthday is, what did he say? He said he wanted a big booty and something else. Guess what? His wife ain't even like that. Did you see his wife? They don't freaking look at Snoop's wife, ex-wife, or current wife. I don't know if they're still married or not. They were going through a separation. I don't know if they are or not. But she wasn't no freaking beauty queen with no big booty and all shapely and stuff. She didn't. They don't have, their wives are not gorgeous. Their wives aren't beauty queens. They marry a plain old chick. Plain old chick who ain't got no extra large booty. They ain't gonna freaking Cardi Red, what's that girl name? Cardi B. She went and got that big old booty. She got all this little money. And guess what happened? Her man still cheated on her with a bigger booty. Like I said before, you a bad bitch to a badder bitch walking through the room. You think you bad? You ain't that bad. He cheated on you with somebody else. You aren't that bad. You're just a woman. That's just what it is. You're just a woman. And only like men would say, good only new pussy is a good pussy. That's what it basically is. All it was for him, it was new. It was new. That was all. It wasn't yours. It was somebody else's. He didn't care nothing about the chick. It was just something new. That's all it was. And I'm trying to get understanding about what's actually happening in our communities on both sides. Where are we getting this warped sense of, I don't know, sense of self? It's such a thank you, Harris. We love you too. We love. I'm just like torn. I'm so glad. My daughter, she's just a plain Jane. You know, she picked up a little college weight because she's in school, but she's not walking around here trying to be other than what she is, and that's not how I raised her. I raised her to love who she is. Hey, Randy. I taught her to love who she is and just to be herself. And but I want to know where. I know we've been getting off topic because there's so many other things to talk about, but I still want to know. I was like, hello, white people. You know, dear white people, what's going on? I want to know what's going on, really. What's happening? And back to my topic, what's really going on? What's happening? I want you to tell me what's happening in your community. Because like I said, I know what's happening in our community. I can spit this out all day, what's happening in my community. What's going on in your community? Why are your children doing this? Why would your children go get a gun to shoot their classmates? We've all gone through situations in school where we were like, oh, so glad when I graduate. I hate being around them. Oh, they bullied me or talked about me. And you might have. When I was going through school, I had a kid when I was 14, and by the time I got to high school, I was tagged as a hoe. You say I love the heart, not the booty. Well, Harris, a lot of men don't love the heart; they love the booty. That's just opposite of what they love. But my thing is, you know, I just want to know what it is. Why are, you know, like I said, when I was in school, they tagged me and said, oh, she's a hoe, because I had a kid, you know, but he was only my first, and I was only 13, he was my first, and I had not been with anyone else, you know, just him, but I was a hoe all of a sudden. But it didn't make me want to go get a gun and shoot my classmates. I just kept to myself and just mind my own business. You know, I had a few friends here and there, but I didn't really hang around a lot of people because I was a mother. And so because I didn't get that connection with a lot of my classmates, even then, I don't really connect with people even now. I'm still kind of a loner even to this day. I mean, I have people I talk to, but I don't hang around a lot of people. I just don't. I don't like a lot of drama, and I can hang out with you guys sometime, but I can't be bothered with people every day because I like my peace. I do. I like to be in my four walls and listen to my music and just be at peace. It's always been a top and I think that Donald Trump has instilled that situation of the browning of the U.S. because if you look at the amount of Hispanics that have been coming to this country, they actually are number 2, and African Americans are number 3. You can look at the census, and if they can get the numbers correctly, they'll probably be number 1. But some of them aren't reporting it. And so, and that is a fear to a lot of people. Um, yeah, they are. And you know what? Um, I think that a lot of times, and it says you saying that the children are not strong, the people are not strong. I think that a lot of times that comes from, well, a lot of times what black, you understand what brown people and black people have gone through. Throughout history and their family lives. It was nothing but you have to be strong in order to survive. And you learn to be strong. Not every culture has had to deal with that. And I think a lot of times with black white people, a lot of times their children, they raise their children in these little bubbles and don't let them see what the real world is like. So the only perspective they see is what the parents put in front of them. They really don't know what real world is about, and a lot of times they shelter them and put them in a bubble, and they don't see real life, and they don't see things as they are. So a lot of times when they have to get into it, they don't know how to deal with it. Yeah, well, I think he's both the symptom and the problem. Me myself, because he's the same exact person. We wouldn't be going through these things right now that we're going through if it wasn't for that man with his hateful thoughts and his hateful antics that he has done. You know, um, and I think that like brown people, like black people, have helped build this country. Black people, this country was built on the backs and soul and blood of black people. The White House was built on the backs and soul and blood, designed by black people. And so, um, and many things in this country was built and built up by black people. And brown people have come here and they've been building, building, building. Majority of the buildings in this country right now that's been built up, you know who've been building them suckers? They have. Migrant workers been coming here working. You know who've been picking all these fruit, picking all these plants, been out here in these fields? Migrant workers. I try to be a strong black woman. Well, I'm not trying. I am. I am a strong black woman. Um, um, he just brings out what's in their hearts. What's going on is that our folks are listening to many different voices, trying to cater to each one. Naively subscribing to the ideas of each. Grave mistake. Um, I think that's true. I think so, Most High. Um, uh, we do. I think that goes on. As human nature, we are so naive. We hear things and it sounds good, and we follow it. It's just like when Jim Jones had all those people following him, and now all of them didn't take that little poison punch, and die. And some of them was like, wait a minute, he taking poison punch and killing people. And they were either shot or forced to take it to give it to their children. But the majority of them took the poison punch voluntarily. They took it voluntarily. And because he talked that good stuff to them, and in their hearts they believed that he was so right. They couldn't see that he was leading them wrong. How can you not see that? It's just like when some of these women get kidnapped or raped or stuff. It's like the signs are, how can you be so naive and think that someone's going to have your best interest at heart? Why wouldn't you care for yourself first? We all hear voices, but not everyone hears the voice. That's true. That's true. How can you be so naive not to think to believe that he's going to have your best interest at heart? You don't know what he has his intentions are. Unless you can read minds, you should never believe that someone always has your best intentions at heart, unless it's your parents. Because they're always, majority of them, I ain't going to say all parents, but the majority of the time, parents have your best interests at heart. I ain't going to say all family, I'm going to say parents. Many times, the majority of parents will have nothing but your best thoughts. And so, I think a lot of times, I don't know, I want you not to put your children in bubbles and have them out here so sheltered and they can't deal with life when you are not there. Because when they're small children, you shelter them. And all you think is this world is going to be peaceful and beautiful. And then Susie or or Bobby next to them starts calling them names, and he doesn't know how to deal with such a thing because you've never let him interact the way he needed to. And so now he's out here with guns and stuff shooting people, and because he can't deal with it. You have to raise him to be able to deal with adversity and to deal with um, um, conflict. Conflict, you have to teach them to build to do that. Black kids are taught that from the get-go, because guess what? You're going to get the conflict in your house before you get to school anyway. Majority of black kids deal with conflict in their house every day. And so they've already know how to deal with some conflict already, because it's conflict. You can't hide everything from your children. They need to see what's going on. It's like a lot of times people will stay married for 40, 50 years, and then once all the kids are gone, then they divorce. And the kids are like, well, why did you get divorced after all these years? And the parents say, well, we were miserable. Well, you guys look so happy. No, we hated each other. But I never saw that. Well, yeah, we didn't let you see that. But we hate each other. And I never want to see his or her face again. I wish they were dead right now. Yeah, just like Waco, exactly. And you have to wake up. Your children should see you in some conflict. They should see that, and then they should also see you resolve the conflict. You can't hide the conflict from them. You need to let them see you in the conflict and see how you resolve the conflict. How did you resolve the conflict? They need to see you start the conflict, end the conflict, and resolve the conflict. How did mom and dad resolve this conflict? This helps them develop and grow and mature as people, as little people, and to go into adulthood. They learn how to do conflict resolutions. You have to teach your children to do that. And so I think it's very important not to shelter them and keep things hidden from their children, but to let them see that. Exactly, conflict. It is. Many times, like I said, black children don't. Majority of black kids don't never get to that point. They see the conflict, but a lot of times they never see their parents resolve the conflict. And that's important for black children to see parents resolve the conflicts in a civilized way as well. Not just to see them in the conflict, which they're used to conflict, but they also need to see their parents resolve the conflict. How did you resolve the conflict? You need to be able to let your children see how you resolve the conflict. We're having a talk. We're going to discuss it, and it's going to be done. Then they say, okay, mom and dad discussed it, and it's all done. They need to see that as well. You don't need to keep cussing each other out. You MF and you B and nah. Y'all stop talking for 2 or 3 days. Then all of a sudden y'all back together. Well, the kid doesn't see anything. He'll think, well, they resolved it, but he don't know how. You need to teach your children how to resolve conflict. Conflict resolution is very important. And they actually will keep your kids from picking up guns, taking them to school, shooting each other in the face. I'm just saying. So, this video is getting a little longer. I know you guys always, well, that's true. I'm one of those black mothers. I don't play. But I try to teach my children conflict resolution and how to deal with it. I try to make sure they knew how to do it. And so I never really had problems with my children in school. They didn't get in trouble. Never were kicked out of school. I didn't have any issues with my children. And conflict resolutions are most definitely needed outside in the hood. That's true. That is true, Most High. I completely agree with that. If only we could figure out a way to do it. We need leaders in our neighborhoods. We need freaking mentors in our neighborhood. Someone who's not afraid to go to these young males and say, hey, my brother, let me talk to you for a minute. And hook them up on some game. You need to talk to them. If you talk to them and help them, give them something. You guys can be afraid of them. Stop being afraid of them. That's the problem. You are afraid. Don't be afraid of them. Don't be afraid of them. God has got you. He's going to protect you if you need to be. And guess what? If something happened to you, guess what? That's what's supposed to happen to you. But if you're going in the right frame of mind, nothing will happen to you. You got to go in with respect and show them dignity and respect and teach them how to give dignity and have some dignity and have respect. But anyway, I'm gonna have to get back with you guys again. This is a great topic. I love your comments. You always comment so very well. I really love the way you guys are so intelligent and so, I mean, you have such great thoughts. Walking around with tension in their shoulders and malice in their spirit and causes them to be intolerant to correction. That is so true, Most High. That is so true. And um, but that's something I've learned to let go of myself, and I'm going to discuss that on another video. I think I discussed it before. I'm going to talk about it again. But I have to go to work, and so I got to go make my change. You know, we've been short, so I've been working a lot lately. Um, but I'm going to get back with everyone. Thank you all so much for your comments. You all are so intelligent and so my enlightened, and I really do appreciate your spirit. You know, I love to hear from you all. I love it. I know my videos end up going so long because you guys comment. I know people are like, her videos are always so long. My videos are long because I have some intelligent, masterful men that that are black and white that comment, and I really appreciate all your comments, and I really appreciate that you have input and actually have something to say. And I want to see you again on my next video. I'm going to try to do one tomorrow because I have another topic I want to speak on. Um, Thank you, Most High. I will see you again soon. And thank you for your comments. I really appreciate you. You are such an intelligent man. I'm so enlightened, and I appreciate any comment. Even though they're negative, I appreciate them because you know what? It gives us all a chance to think. So even with the negative ones, you can even think about that. The negative ones, you can sit back and think about what does that mean? What was the angle of that? So, but anyway. I will talk to you guys later. Hopefully tomorrow I'll get this other video up, okay? I'll see you later. Bye.